AirTable is going to be the Missourian's new budgeting tool. So AirTable is a database, and each entry is a record. So the records continue to show up regardless. They're just rearranged in different views and sorted and grouped. So changing a record on one view changes it for all the views. So the standard one is obviously daily budget. That's all the things that are on the budget for the day. And the fields are very similar to what we use now. As you can see, notes is for, so the descriptions, if they're super long, can get a little cut off. So if you have specific notes either for print or for web about presentation or content boxes, that should go in there. The daily budget is sorted by date, so it's looking for the pub date of today. So you need to make sure you mark that. The print pub date should correspond to when it will run in print. So on Friday, then print wouldn't run till Sunday, for example. We've got photo workflow, any notes from photo, a graphics workflow, the story type, so we group those. We've got stories, we have the lead visual, there's breaking briefs, a correction would go in here, get marked, photo gallery night side, and then some of our more specific ones for other sections. We've got a few sections, so it splits those up as well. So if you scroll down, you see there's the opinion section with the different story types, and if we had sports stories in, you'd see those as well. So there are additional fields that I've hidden, but these are the main ones that we'll use for the daily budget. You can add by just clicking the plus sign to add a new record. You can also expand every record to see everything in one place, make notes. If you leave a comment here, it will note that there's a comment on that story. So those are available to expand. Also, when you are adding a new story, for example, if you would rather enter it this way, you can expand it instead of having to go through every piece on the spreadsheet. Up to you how you manage that. Delete that record. For things that are in the future, so we have tomorrow's budget. That's things that have a pub date for the next day. So you'd mark, that's where you would find those when you want to look ahead. We have a 3-day budget. If you're looking at the weekend, for example, you'd be able to look ahead up to 3 days. Other views, advanced planning. So this is farther in advance, it will do everything going forward from today. But you can go as far ahead as you would like if you want to go ahead and schedule some things on the calendar for advanced planning. We do have a place for the planning calendar where anything that has a lead visual tag would show up here. So this replaces the previous planning document. So those are things that we have available here to manage in a calendar view. As they get added here, then they would appear in the advanced planning budget under the date that they are set. So if you are, for example, the editor on the international athletes, we may have generically put it in the advanced planning doc or calendar, and you'd want to go in and change the slug and make any updates to that record. All changes go across the board, so there's no more copy and pasting. If you make a change, it will affect anywhere it appears. If, for example, we are looking at a story and saying, okay, this story, pick one randomly, it's actually a brief, instead of copy and pasting, you would just change that status and it'll just move that record. If a story is holding, for example, if the story doesn't come through and we're not going to have it probably till Tuesday, then that's going to disappear from the daily budget. You'd find it that it goes ahead to the advanced planning budget. So you'd also want to make sure, I'll expand that and assign the print date. So let's say that's maybe not going to go to the 24th, for example. So that kind of thing can be done just by manipulating the different fields without having to move it. Just changing the fields will actually filter it into another view. If you think you've lost something or something, especially sometimes when we add, it misses a date. So this is where you might find things that have been filtered in a way that you lost them. So records missing a date can be helpful for that. Past budget content, if something didn't get the date pushed forward, you can find a week's worth of budget content in this view. Sports, again, this is really just filtering by the section, and by day. So sports folks can enter all their data, all their budget items in here, and they will automatically populate on the daily budget, assuming they're assigned to that day. So if I looked at tomorrow's, then I have a sports story I've assigned there. So no copy paste between the two. You enter it wherever you want to enter it, and as long as it has a sports section, it'll show here, but it will also show on the appropriate daily or future budgets that the whole newsroom is often looking at. The ice desk can use the ice desk tool, and that will show you everything that is in ice slow or in ice fast, and so you can manage that and see those pretty quickly. The print planning document, so it will sort if you assign a page to it, then it will filter and group them by page assignment. So this is all sorted that way. You can quickly see if there's a jump for it, you would assign the page there. If something needs to be moved around, you would just change that page number that it's assigned to. So any changes that are made on the main budget will float through to the print budget. So that kind of stuff. These up here are ones that aren't assigned to a page yet. So that's the print view. Keep in mind that these views are set up in a really specific way, and they are global views, so please avoid making changes to filters or groups. If you feel like you aren't seeing what you want, we can talk about a new view if you need to create one, or adjusting one. But if you do it to try to find something, then it will affect everybody's view. So please avoid doing that. We have some automations built in so we can create records on recurring things that happen. Also, when stories or photos are marked as being in iSlow, then it will trigger a message to Slack. So we can eliminate that extra step of posting in Slack and hold everybody accountable to updating here. Those are basically the highlights. It should be pretty straightforward, but I'm happy to answer questions as we go, and we can continue to tweak as we figure out things that are working or not working. Thanks.